Okay, I have a three-part question, Cody.
All right.
Okay, I'll start with the easy one. Just to clarify, you are the type of broker where the banks are paying your fee, correct?
No, ma'am.
Oh.
No, most banks actually don't pay fees to brokers. SBA does in some scenarios. Some life cos do, but it's not very common.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, so my second question is, you mentioned that you often got involved in a deal before the actual loan application when you were still in the due diligence process. And I just struggle to think, this kind of relates to my third question, but I struggle to imagine that you have time to be evaluating deals with us and telling us like what you think you can do for the deal and looking at everything while we're still at that stage. So I was wondering if you could speak to that. And while you're speaking to it, my third question is, I have had bad experiences with two brokers. So I was wondering at what point, as the consumers of broker services, we should say, you know what, dude, I've given you enough time.
Totally get it.
And I'm moving on.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first part of the question, remind me of the first part of the question.
Yeah. How do you find the time to
finding
help
the time.
people through due diligence? Like basically, I think what she's saying is they don't have a deal locked up yet, and they're coming to lean on you as a resource. How do you? How do you have time to?
I'm
breathe?
a deal junkie. I love this stuff. So, you know, I'm looking at deals all day long. This is what I do. So I make the time. And I've got a great support team behind me to help with deals that are actually in process and in closing. So that actually frees up to stay on the front end and help out with deals on the front end. But so the way that I work, I don't know how the other brokers that you worked with work, but the way that I work personally is I like to bring value first. And so what we do is once we'll hop on a call, we'll talk about the deal, we'll go through X, Y, and Z, you know, the good, the bad, etc., and where I think it's going to fall. If I'm not sure, then I'm at least going to want to go out there in the market and, you know, poke around a little bit before I give you anything definitive where I think it's going to, you know, where I think I can execute. If we're on the same page from that poking around and I get indications that I can hit the ask or at least be close enough, then I'll ask you to sign a retention agreement. That retention agreement is saying that you're working with us and we're paid at closing upon a successful closing. The deal doesn't close, our bank doesn't close, I don't charge fees. That's my job, is to get the deal done. I pride myself on certainty of execution, which I think in this market is more important than anything. And I want to be sure that I can execute and give you that confidence. Otherwise it's egg on my face, and this is a very, very small world, a very small industry. One bad relationship, one handling a situation incorrectly can spread very quickly, and we've seen it. Not personally on any of my deals, but you know, I would say if you're engaging with a broker and you're concerned about a timeline, if you're not seeing progress within decent timelines, you can disengage. It all depends on that agreement on the front end. We personally, how I do it is if you've got issues with the language in the retention agreement, redline it, send it back. You know, let's adjust it. Let's add a timeline to it. Let's add deal parameters to it. Let's whatever makes you feel comfortable. But I'm not going to give you my confidence that I can execute unless I'm confident in executing, and that's based on my back work and my poking around to be confident. A year ago on the front end, that very first conversation that we had over the phone, I could tell you with certainty this is where we're going to be, this is why, this is how we're going to get it done. Today's not that world. You know, we're having to shop out to 10, 20, 30, 50. There's some deals we're out to 90 plus lenders on. And you know, so we have to have an agreement in place to go do all that work, but if you're not happy with it and we don't close, then we don't charge anything. So I'm not sure the other brokers that you worked with how their agreements are, but that's how we would work.